At Oban Sheriff Court on 18th November 1896, an unusual court case was presented to Sheriff McTavish. A poultry keeper called John Turner of Lagan Farm was in court to claim damages from the local distillery, the Salin Distillery Company Limited, for injury done to his chickens. He claimed the distillery allowed intoxicating materials to flow into the local Lagan burn, which his poultry had access to. He alleged the water was polluted with alcohol, leading to his hens being drunk, which in turn meant they were not of any value to him. For several years, his poultry business had been successful, but since the establishment of the distillery, he had made little or no money. He said his hens and ducks wouldn't eat, as they were always intoxicated with drink, except on Sundays, which was when the distillery was closed. Turner told the sheriff that on the Sabbath the hens and ducks were pitiable in the extreme, most likely hungover. On Mondays, the hens would drink excessively and end up falling into the burn, and due to this, he had to get a boy in to keep an eye on them. They refused food until they had a walk in Lagan Burn. Their behaviour was reprehensible, and the ducks were no better than the hens. It took the hens a while to discover the burn, with him laying the blame squarely at the feet of the hen he'd bought in Fort William for leading the others to it, and leading them astray. At this point, John Scott asked for permission to read an article written by Andrew Lang, which referred to a similar case, but as Mr. Lang hadn't turned up at the proceedings, his plea was rejected. The superintendent, Mr. Moss, on behalf of Turner, was then asked to place the wicker cage containing the Fort William hen on the bench. Mr. Scott asked him to confirm it was indeed the Fort William hen, to which Turner replied yes. Then he was asked if it was sober. The reply came, "It is not." Everyone could see there was something amiss. It just sat at the bottom of the cage, then popped its head through the bars, looking at the ceiling, and began cooing in what was described as a maudlin way. It then turned to the judge, addressing him with some forcible remarks, before he ordered it to be removed from the courtroom. He was asked if the other hens were worse than this one. He replied, yes, the rest were drunk too. So the Fort William hen is not the worst, he was asked. He said she wasn't, and could only account for her being less drunk by stating, she can stand it better. He was asked what the hens do when they return from the burn, and he told the court they slept. Then when they woke up, they would fight. Although he had other hens which were sober, the drunk ones would break their eggs. Turner felt entitled to damages, but the defence for the distillery claimed the hens may have been suffering from influenza, as they claimed there was no proof in what Turner said. The sheriff delayed judgment, since it was such an unusual case. The Fort William hen, brought by Turner to the packed courtroom, roused just as much interest outside the court. She was given half a glass of whisky, which she took greedily. This revived her, and she cackled at a great rate, much to the enjoyment of the bystanders. However, although many newspapers picked up this story, it was in fact a hoax created by an Oban native for newspapers south of the border. The Westminster Gazette was hesitant to run it, as something just didn't ring true, but others printed it. The Westminster did some digging and found it to be a complete fantasy and ran the headline, "The Hen Hoax." But it made many readers smile ruefully that they'd been had once again by a made-up event in Oban. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.